My name is Tomilola Tosiniribake. I'll be your moderator for today, and our professional that will be taking us on allergies is Dr. Ayorena. I hope we're all ready. I hope you're all ready. Just a quick reminder. We'll be taking only questions on allergies today. Just questions on allergies. Any other questions you have, please head on straight to the Facebook group and post your questions. The moderators and professionals will attend to your questions there. For this live video, we'll be attending to just allergies. And of course, our doctor is going to give us a preview first and talk about all we need to know about allergies before we start asking questions. And a gentle reminder, ATP will be going live on the Global Giving platform on the 11th of March. That's on Monday. Woo! So please get ready to support us. We'll talk more about that at the end of the live show. Okay. Oh, yes. How many people are voting today? Please, it's your civic responsibility. Go out to vote. Go out to vote. Cast your vote. Let your power as a civilian show. I'll be welcoming Dr. Ayo. Dr. Ayo, are you still with us? Dr. Ayo? Okay. I think we're having technical issues on one of the ends. So let's just hold on for Dr. Ayo. And as usual, call your friends. Blessing on you. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Abimbola, you're welcome. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I apologize for the delay. Okay. Hello, doctor. Can you hear me? Hello, doctor.
Hello.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Welcome to the ATP Live for today.
Thank
We're
you.
we're happy to
Technology.
have you with us.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay, all right. We're waiting on you to kick off. We're talking about allergies today, sir.
Okay. Can I go right away? Can I start?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Oh, great. Okay. So, morning, everyone. Morning, as the pediatrician members. So nice to be here on a very wonderful election morning. I should be voting. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
We can hear you, sir.
Hello. Yes, because yes, the image disappeared. Okay, so yes, it's a wonderful morning here in Lagos. Election morning. Don't mind me, I'm in my car, so I should actually be inside, but there's no light. NIPA decided to do us, very strange things this morning. However, we will make the best use of the situation.
Okay.
So, allergy, thank you. Allergies are a very important topic. So, it's a great thing that you guys are talking about it because allergies are more common than we actually think. So, getting straight into it, what exactly are allergies? Now, allergies are a condition in which an individual's body responds more aggressively or in an excessive manner to stimuli. So our bodies are immune systems in that our bodies protect us from a lot of things. Now, our bodies recognize our bodies as being part of self. However, when an external agent like a protein or a strange carbohydrate or someone or an organism gets into our body sees it and says, you know what, this is a foreign object. This is something that does not belong to us. And so we have to attack it. And sometimes in the process of attacking that thing, the body ends up also causing harm to itself. And so that, in a certain sense, is what happens with allergies. So the body is trying to get rid of something else and ends up causing a reaction to itself. And so
Okay.
that's what happens with allergies.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Welcome, Olufumi Kadijat. Thank you for joining this morning. People, you can start dropping in your questions. Dr. Ayo is ready to attend to them. Please, questions on allergies only. Questions on allergies only.
Okay, so other questions are coming in, I guess.
Questions. We're still waiting on questions.
Okay, all right. So, and our allergies, in terms of what percentage of the population has allergies, at least 2% of the population has allergies, but the figures are difficult to actually pinpoint here in Nigeria because people don't really report, allergies. People don't really say, you know what, I have an allergy, and there's no real allergy register. Because elsewhere, if you have an allergy, it's documented such that you know that, and it's put in a central registry so that people are aware that you have an allergy. Allergies can go anywhere from a mild discomfort, maybe an itch, an uncomfortable rash, to severe life-threatening event, which require
Hello.
where an individual is actually extremely, ill, almost life-threatening.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Doc.
Now, good. So when it comes to allergies, what are the things that are likely to cause allergies? Now, a lot of things cause allergies, mostly proteins, because proteins are the ones that have that ability to cause allergies because of their chemical structure. Now, proteins can range anywhere from things like food to things like drugs. Food allergies are the common allergies that we encounter that can lead to serious events. So a lot of the common foods that we eat that can lead to allergies include things like nuts, so things like ground nuts, cashew nuts,
Okay.
hazelnuts, but groundnuts being the most common, so peanut butter, groundnuts. So if you have any indication that you yourself are allergic to groundnuts or peanuts, you should also be cautious in giving peanuts or groundnuts to your children because some of these allergic tendencies are inherited. So it can be passed from parents to child. So a father who is asthmatic, because asthma in a way is along the spectrum of allergies. If a parent who is asthmatic might have two children or a child who is asthmatic. And so a parent who has peanut allergies might have a child who also have peanut allergies. And so one must take cognizance of that. Also, seafood and shellfish. So things like shrimp, crayfish, crustaceans like crab, like lobster. So, like scallops. So when an individual is allergic to those types of foods, then they should also avoid them as much as possible in their children. Also, foods like sometimes people react to fish, sometimes people react to even beef. One must pay attention to that. Eggs.
Okay.
Eggs are also another important source of allergies. So some people have allergy to the egg whites, and so once they eat eggs, they just break out in hives, and they become quite ill.
Okay.
Then milk is another important one. So there's what we call cow's milk protein allergy. So cow's milk contains protein. So the protein part of cow's milk, which is the whey protein and the casein. Now those whey protein, the composition in cows, there are certain elements in cow's milk, certain proteins in cow's milk that make humans react to it. I always tease human beings that human beings are the only animals on the planet that drink the milk of another species. So the other animals, you find out that when they are young, they drink milk from their own mothers. They drink milk from their own mothers. So a cow will drink a cow's milk, a goat will drink a goat's milk, a whale will drink a milk. Because we, after infancy, to us, we go see 5 cow milk drink, we go see 5 camel milk drink. So sometimes it can be actually quite interesting. So it's very easy for us to develop allergies against the milk that we're getting from another species. So it's not uncommon for human beings and individuals to actually have cow milk protein allergy as a result of drinking cow's milk. Very important. Now, other things that can cause allergies would include things like fabrics. So fabrics like cotton, they will cause skin allergies. So some person who has a tendency to have skin allergies, when they wear certain fabrics like cotton, they can have allergies. Then things like pollen grains. So in a place where there's a field of flowers and you go there dancing in the flowers, in the poppies, in the daffodils, and next thing you come down with sneezing, your eyes start itching, your nose start itching. I'll talk about the symptoms later. Then you're dealing with pollen allergies. I've had an event on occasion whereby I went to the rural area. I stay in Lagos where it's only dust. The only thing I can be allergic to is generator smoke. But when I went to the village in Osun State and there was pollen everywhere, I just developed wheezing all of a sudden, and my breathing became difficult. And so that can be an issue. So sometimes change of environment, you just move from one place to the next, and there might be something in that environment that might be giving you allergies. So dust and house mites, they also trigger allergic reactions, rhinitis, sneezing, tearing and watering of your eyes. So it's always important for us to keep our house free of dust and house dust mites.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor. Okay. Our questions have started streaming in. Okay, so I'll be showing the first question on the screen. It's from Owachuku Sunday. Is asking, my baby always experience intermittent itches on his forehead and back, looking like itch rashes. What could be the problem, doctor?
Okay, so a rash is always, now first I'd like to know first of all how old the baby is. And then a rash is always difficult to diagnose remotely. One must always see a rash to make the diagnosis of a rash. However, forehead and back are very common locations for what we call atopic dermatitis. And atopic dermatitis starts in infants from about 3 months to anything to about 1 year. Atopic dermatitis is a tendency for the skin to react aggressively to external stimuli. Sometimes it might be the baby lotion you're using. Sometimes it might be the fabric you're lying the baby in. Sometimes it's because the baby is sweating excessively and that sweat is coming in contact with the skin for a long time and the baby is reacting. Now, atopic dermatitis is something that is a chronic condition, meaning that it's something that the child will have to manage for a very long time. Atopic dermatitis is passed along generations. So sometimes the parent might have it or have something close to it like allergic rhinitis, and then the child will now develop it. So this is most likely atopic dermatitis that Mr. Wanchoku is talking about, and will require a visit to the hospital whereby certain steroid creams will be prescribed and then certain measures. For instance, you shouldn't use water that is too hot to bathe your child. So I know that some of us, our mothers and grandmothers and mother-in-laws, they say, hot water. Make sure that you bathe the child with hot water. But no, the child doesn't require hot water. The water should be lukewarm, a comfortable temperature. And when that has been used for the child, don't allow the water to dry on the skin before you apply the lotion, because that application of the lotion when the skin is still wet helps to trap in the moisture and prevent the skin from drying out. Also, don't towel the child dry. Don't rub the child dry. If you must towel, just pat gently, because in rubbing the skin dry like that, you are getting rid of the protective keratin layer that is on the skin. And then as much as possible, children, yes, if you rub if you towel yourself and you rub like that, adults, I mean, you can ignore adults. Adults can do anything with themselves, but for babies, gently pat dry.
Okay.
Possible.
Hello, doctor.
A light foam, so the sponge that you use for babies, let it be something very light. Let it not be any really hard sponge. If possible, you can even use just your hands to actually just cleanse the skin of the baby. So those are the measures that one sometimes, in very significant or severe cases, we might actually prescribe steroids to use, but that's a hospital setting.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor. The next question, Feromi Akirami is asking, is allergies related to what you eat alone?
So allergies, I would say, are inherent in that the people who are allergic to things, they already have an inherent tendency in their system, in their blood, in their genes to develop allergies. However, a person might not have any symptoms of allergy if they are not exposed to things that will give them those symptoms. But the commonest things that will give you allergic symptoms are foods and then environmental exposures like dust and house dust mites. However, drugs are very important causes of allergies. I must emphasize it that drugs are very important. Paracetamol, that appears to be so innocuous, can give one very, very severe allergies, life-threatening allergies.
Wow.
Another cause of drugs that are well implicated in allergies include penicillins. Now, penicillins are drugs that we use to treat infections. So things like amoxicillin, so things like augmentin, things like amoxicillin, clavulanic, so things like ampiclox, yes. So those kind of drugs that contain stellene, they can actually give you very severe life-threatening infections. So if you go to the pharmacy and then you just go and buy it by yourself and then you begin to use and you develop a life-threatening allergy, then that can be a bit of an issue. So drugs are also very important causes of allergy. So it's not just foods, it's drugs, it's environmental exposures.
Okay, all right. Thank you, doctor. So mothers, you've heard all this Ajogba syndrome and all, please, let's avoid it. If you have any issues, if you notice anything with your baby, go straight to the hospital. Let a doctor, preferably a pediatrician, see the child and do the prescriptions. Don't share what prescription was given to your child with another mother because you saw similar issues. You are not a doctor. Please, please, please. Our next question is from Ajoke. My baby sleep at night. By the time he wakes, his baby sores. Okay, Ajoke, please resend your question. We do not understand what you've sent here now. Please resend your question. Next question. Abimbola Fadia is asking, well done, doctor. What is bullous eruption?
Okay, so thank you, Fadege. A bullous eruption is a skin lesion, or is a skin rash that contains water inside that is more than 0.5 centimeters in diameter. That's just big grammar to say that if you have any large skin lesion or any large skin rash that has water inside and the skin rash is very big, then that is a bullous eruption. However, a lot of things can cause bullous eruptions, from insect bites, even burns can cause bullous eruptions, heat can cause bullous eruptions. But there's a condition that we call epidermolysis bullosa, which can sometimes be quite life-threatening because the skin develops huge bullae, and the bulle makes the skin to slough off, and that leaves the skin exposed to infections, and then raging systemic infections, and that can be quite serious. So if you notice or know anyone that has a bullous skin eruption, they have to go to the hospital for the diagnosis to be made, because some bullous eruptions are eruptions that you can just ignore and doesn't require any treatment, while others require severe and aggressive management. Just to add to things cause allergies, I forgot to mention insects. So insect bites can cause violent, severe allergies. So bee stings, wasp stings. However, stings from the things like sandfly can cause all those spots on the legs of children that are so itchy and that leave these hideous black spots on the legs. So skin bite by insects are also a very important cause of allergies.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor. Our next question is
You're
from
welcome.
JC. She's asking, how do I know that my baby is allergic to cow's milk? They are 4 months old. Whenever I feed them Pellagon milk, they immediately start to pull watery stool and also fussy.
Mm. So that's a very important question, because cow's milk protein allergy can sometimes be very difficult to differentiate from things like colic. But these symptoms that you have mentioned to me, such as the pooing of the watery poo, after the milk has been fed, then you should start thinking about the fact that the child might have cow's milk protein allergy. So, for instance, if you introduce a formula to a child, a formula that the child has not been taking before, and when you introduce that formula, the child starts to have abdominal cramping, and the child starts to fart a lot, every time the child is giving that milk, and the child starts to have watery diarrhea. Every time the child is always having diarrhea, the child is losing weight, always vomiting. On some occasions, you might actually even see blood in the stool. It's time for you to take the child to the hospital, such that the child should be evaluated. So for your child, I suggest that first of all, you stop the milk that you are giving, and then pay a visit to the hospital for them to try to see if this is cow's milk protein allergy. Normally, we will check the stool of the child to see if maybe there are things like blood in the stool. If there's things, especially when you start to see mucus in the stool, we might be dealing with allergies. And then they'll check for reducing substances. They'll check for blood in the stool. They'll check for neutrophils in the stool. That's just a certain type of cells to see if there's another possibility that it might be something else like an infective diarrhea. However, when you start to notice that you've introduced a milk and you're having watery diarrhea, abdominal cramping, excessive farting, vomiting, you might be dealing with cow's milk protein allergy.
All right. Thank you, doctor. Easy, Angela, I'm not going to read your question. We are dealing with just children here. Adult questions should be sent to our sister group, ATP family, please. Ask the pediatrician's family. Look for that group and post your question there. Ask the pediatricians deals with just children. Please ask the physician's family deals with adults. Send your question there, please. Please. Next question is from Ferami. Sorry, excuse me. Ferami Abiodun. My baby, 1 year, 6 months today, is always having
Okay.
boils since I stopped exclusive breastfeeding. Can I say she's allergic to something? It comes like once in 3 months and goes on its own.
Hmm. Well, okay, so when you say the term boils, so boils are a very specific diagnosis. So always with a skin condition, never make or never make a doctor diagnose a skin condition on phone or WhatsApp. You always have to take the child to the hospital for the doctor to examine the rash for him to know that, okay, this is this and it is not this. Because sometimes some people, they will have impetigo and they'll call them boils. So
Hmm.
that term, but if they are no, boils are not a sign of allergy. Boils are an infection. So this must mean that personal hygiene in some way is being breached, and that is the only explanation for boils. There is no other explanation for boils. Once you have a boil, it means that somehow your personal hygiene has fallen in a way or another. Either you have scratched your skin with a nail that is dirty, or dirt has gotten into your skin. So if a child is having boils and it comes and goes, it means that there is somebody else in the house that is a carrier of the organism that is causing the boils. Boils are mainly caused by staphylococcus, occasionally by streptococcus. And when small infants begin to have boils in a recurrent fashion in that manner, then it means that most likely an adult in the house is carrying that staphylococcus somewhere in their nostrils. Ideal protocol is that all the adults in the house have to go to the hospital. We have to swab their nostrils and they have to get tested to see who has the boils. So let me find out, or after the question, find out in the house, is anybody else having current boils like that? And if that person is having that, they need to
Hello,
go
doctor.
to the hospital.
Okay. Dr. Aya? Dr. Aya, are you still with us?
I'm here. Is the network?
Okay. All right. Okay, please, you need to go by that answer again. They need to go to the
Okay, no
hospital.
problem. Yes. So when a child is having recurrent boils, it means that there is a breach in personal hygiene on the part of one of the caregivers. So it's
Okay.
necessary for them, first of all, to pay attention to things like hand washing, things like sanitizing your hands before caring for the child, making sure that the child's beddings and clothing are washed and sterilized, making sure that the child is not coming in contact with anybody who has dirty hands, washing your hands after changing the diaper, washing your hands after getting out of the toilet, very essential. However, sometimes we can have what we call adult carriers. Now, those adult carriers can be carrying the organism, the staphylococcus, that causes the boil in their nostrils. And so it's essential for them to get treated for that staphylococcus so as to prevent continuous transmission of that germs to the baby. In that way, they have to go to the hospital. The hospital will swab their nostrils, and then the hospital will now grow that staphylococcus and then treat them for it. There's a cream
Okay.
that we have to apply in their nostrils. They must apply in their nostrils, so that it clears and cleanses them of that organism, the staphylococcus.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Next question is from Olubumi Dumoye. My 3-year
Okay.
old daughter always itches her body anytime she has a bath in the morning.
Mm. Okay, so very interesting. So first thing, the itching. I've known some people that when they use a certain temperature of water, they react to it. So if the water is too hot, then you have to start using water that is lukewarm, not too hot. Not the water. There's some water that when you pour it on your skin will just do because it's quite hot. So no, you cannot use that kind of water for a child. You must use water that is lukewarm, not too hot, not too cold. Very essential. So once you've done that, I would like to also know if maybe this itching starts when you're actually toweling or when you've rubbed the skin. But I feel that the temperature of the water is too hot because heat can actually cause release of certain chemicals that will cause very violent itching in children. So if you cannot use cold water, then please preferably use water that is lukewarm to bathe your child. And then pay a visit to the hospital if the symptoms do not resolve.
All right. Thank you. Next question is from Kemi. My 9-year-old daughter sneezes badly in the morning. She has been on
Mm,
this for over 5 years. I have changed the
wow.
mattresses, I change pillows all the time, and their room is well ventilated. In fact, she runs nose all the time. Please help.
Okay. So this sounds like allergic.
Doctor.
I suggest that you it. However, environmental exposure. So pay a visit your pediatrician. Visit your pediatrician so that certain medications can be administered. However, environmental exposure, limiting environmental exposure is very essential. The truth is, it might not necessarily be something in the house environment that is causing these issues. Sometimes you find out that school environments, grass, things they are playing in, can be contributing to these issues and
Hmm.
keeping the nose running. Because they will go to school, play in the grass, play in dust, and of course, the symptoms will still be there, and it's unavoidable. You can't really stop them from playing in grass or playing anywhere. They are children. It is their right to play. Play is a right of children. Maybe I cannot emphasize it enough because I was talking about, internally displaced people's camps, just to digress a bit, and how the facility that need to be, and so it's very essential, and you're cleaning everywhere, keeping the dust safe, and changing the fabrics. But outside environment too is still essential. And you find out that sometimes even things blowing into the house from outside are very essential. Somebody burning something near the house, somebody, sweeping. These are things that can still contribute to the symptoms.
Okay. All right. Kemi, you've heard the doctor. So check other environment your child goes to. Next question is from Umeju. What could be the cause of boil on the eye of a boy of 8 years? It started since he was 3, and I have used different antibiotics, but it keeps coming back. Mothers. Who prescribed the antibiotics? Dr. Ayo, please. Hello, doctor?
Can I answer it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So boils in the eye since she was 3 years old. That's also a very unusual one. So I suggest you pay a visit to the hospital, because sometimes you have a condition in which certain ducts in the child's eye might be getting blocked recurrently, and that might be leading to the boils. Also, hygiene habits. So if the child is always rubbing his eye, something scratches the eye, and then he rubs with dirty hands, then that can also lead to recurrent eye infections and boils. Because yes, a lot of things will irritate our eyes, but the kind of hands that you use to rub the eyes are very important. So if it's hands that he has used to touch the ground, used to rub the wall, and then he now goes and rubs his eye with it, and of course he'll come down with recurrent boils in the eye. And so recurrent antibiotics is not really the solution. The solution is actually paying attention to his hygiene and making sure that he leaves his eyes well alone. But pay a visit to the hospital so that they can actually evaluate him.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Okay, Ajoka is back. She was one that mentioned something about the baby swelling. When he wakes in the morning, he might have gotten a swollen body. I was told he's reacting to something, which I've tried to find out, but couldn't find the solution.
Okay. Also, again, I would like to see these big swellings and what they look like. Very important that I see a rash before I make a diagnosis. However, if it's what I think it is, then the possibilities are one, an insect is biting him. And it's so very likely for insects to be living inside beddings and clothing. So I think you should move him to another room entirely. I know you might have done that, but move him again. Move him to another room entirely. Get a new set of fabrics for him to sleep on. Very essential, so that we are sure that it's not the fabric that he's using. And make sure that there are no insects in the beddings. Very essential, very important. Because I can imagine those swellings will be very uncomfortable. And if the symptoms persist, then change and go to the hospital. I know a lot of people do find it, unthinkable that why should I have to move? Why should I move my house? Or why should I move places because of allergies? And sometimes moving places might be the solution to the problem. So it's true. I find out that some mothers tell me that when they change me, for instance, maybe when they go for holidays in another environment, the child's allergic symptoms actually disappear.
Stops.
And I
Yes.
don't want to, they tell me that when they move, maybe they were in England, or they were in Dubai for 2 weeks, and the child did not have a single snuffle of the nose. His skin was as clear as a baby's bum bum. He had no rash, and I was like, why don't you move to England? That means Nigeria is not agreeing with your baby's skin. But sometimes change of environment actually improves the symptoms of allergies, simply because the environmental exposures have been removed.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor. Mothers, fathers, uncles, aunties, you've heard. Change of environment also helps with allergies. Okay, our next question is from Omolara. Thanks, Dr. Rena, learning a lot. Please, I want to ask, when is the okay, sorry. Omolara, we're not treating bedwetting today. Please post your question on the group wall, please. Moderators and professionals on standby will attend to that. Next question from Amarachi. Please, my 9 months baby usually have fever which comes with rashes. And when given malaria drug, it stops and repeats after like a month. What could be the cause?
Sorry, can you say that? Can you go over that again?
My 9 month baby,
Okay.
9 months, usually have
Yes.
fever which
Mm-hmm.
comes with rashes. And when
Mm-hmm.
given malaria drugs, it
Mm-hmm.
stops and repeats after like a month. What could be the cause?
That's a very unusual scenario. 9 months old, having fever with rashes. It goes after malaria drugs have been given and then comes back. So first of all, malaria drugs and rashes, they don't go together. So that's the first thing I would say. Malaria always has to, you always have to test for malaria because not every fever, not every high temperature is malaria. So you must test for malaria and then treat malaria specifically. That's one. Two, a lot of the rashes that come with temperature are caused by viruses. So things like chickenpox, things like measles, things like rubella, things like rubiola. Now, those are the common rashes that come with fever. Chickenpox, they can only have once in a lifetime, and chickenpox is something that is very, very unmissable. Measles, very unusual. Measles usually comes only once as well. Measles, if you have measles once, you shouldn't have measles again for the rest of your life. So that's a very unusual one. Now, you can have recurrent rubiola, but that means that is the child in creche. First of all, I need to ask that. But if the baby is in creche, then that's very important because it might be impetigo, and impetigo can give you fever. However, what I would say is that go to the hospital, let them have a look at the rash and let them evaluate it. So it might be one of these viral rashes or it might be impetigo. And once they are in creche and once they are in daycare, play group, they are entitled to kata, cough, boil, skin allergic rashes, anything you can think about, they are entitled to it. So that can be a bit of a problem.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor. Amarachi, you've heard from the doctor. Please stop the malaria drugs and let a
Yes.
doctor evaluate the child. Okay. Our next question is from Batum Barry. My
Okay.
son has had this rash for over 4 years.
4 years.
It itches, and each time it scratches it, it brings out blood. At
Oh
times,
dear.
it looks like it's gone. Before you know it, it comes back full. Dermatologists have been seen, and yet no difference. Please help.
Okay. Wow. A rash again, so that's the issue with the allergies. Allergies are always involve a rash. Now, this rash that comes up and then he itches and then it bleeds, it does sound like he has what we call papular urticaria. Papular urticaria is usually located on the legs, but it can happen anywhere on the body. Usually, it happens that an insect bites him. He has an excessive reaction on the skin to the insect bite that causes intense itching, or what we call intense pruritus. And that itching causes him to scratch himself so much that he bleeds. It's not really that the lesion has blood inside. But when you have an allergic or an insect bite, the blood vessels in that particular rash become so wide and so large that all it needs is a little trauma, a little scratch for it to bleed. So he's not bleeding because it's anything terribly abnormal. No, he's bleeding because he's applying trauma, force, scratching it, and that's why he's bleeding. Yes, I know you'd have seen a lot of dermatologists, but a dermatologist would have told you that there is nothing that can be done to cure it. There is no cure for it. It just has to be managed. As the child grows older, it will gradually get better. A lot of children outgrow all these things. So sadly, you have to be very patient. I wish I had better news for you, but this is a condition that has to be managed gradually. It's a chronic condition. There is no treatment or cure for it. However, we can give you antihistamines like Piriton, steroid creams to prevent these things from occurring. However, prevention of exposure is very important, such that as evening starts to fall, he has to wear trousers, he has to wear long stockings, he has to wear things that will prevent the insect from getting access to his skin. I know a lot of these insect bites these children in schools, and a lot of schools, children wear only short knickers and their legs are exposed. So it's something, it's a discussion that I think you can have with the school authorities to say, oh, can he wear a long pair of socks or can they wear trousers, just to prevent this skin itching or papular urticaria from recurring, because it can be quite distressing when you see blood on your child's skin. And in that scratching and exposing the skin with that blood exposed, you can have what we call secondary bacterial infection, such that tearing open your skin will leave the skin open for bacteria to get in and cause a secondary infection, which we absolutely do not
Mm. Okay, all right. Thank you, doctor. Banso
want.
Barry, I hope you've heard from the doctor. Please take all the necessary precautions. Next question is from Alero Moses. My 4 years old daughter has been complaining of uh, Okay, no, this is not an allergy. Okay, sorry, let me just read it. My 4 years old daughter has been complaining of biting in okay, I don't know what this is. Okay, next one, vagina, and even all her body for it. Oh, Jesus. For a time now. My second son of 1 year, 6 months also has cough and catarrh right from his birth till now. And I've taken them to see a doctor, but still no change. Please, what could be the cause?
Cough and catarrh right from birth. That's unusual. Uh-huh. Okay. Maybe from very early. Okay, so this also sounds like allergic rhinitis. And they are see, the problem with allergic rhinitis is that there are drugs that we use and you can't just use them for 2 days and stop. No, because allergic rhinitis is a chronic condition. So you have to use these drugs for years, every day for years, but they have side effects which need to be monitored. So you cannot just be giving them and not going to see a physician. You must administer those drugs and still go for your physician appointments for us to monitor possible side effects. So you need to see someone that will give you a drug that you'll be using for a long time. This is 2 years, 3 years, 4 years until the child outgrows the allergic issues. As for the itching in the vagina, please pay a visit to the hospital because sometimes children can have what we call contact dermatitis. They might be reacting to the fabric of their underwear, such that when you might see some people that they might have some rashes along the line of their belts or along places that come in contact with their jewelry. Sometimes children can have those sorts of reactions to their clothes and to the fabric of their underwear. Sometimes it might get wet, the wetness might stay there, and it might come in contact with the skin and might begin to itch, you might see a rash. So please take to the hospital. Let's make sure that we're not dealing with vaginal candidiasis or a foreign body, or we're dealing with, or whether we're dealing with allergies or a reaction to a fabric. That's very essential.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor. Next question is from Chinwe. My 8 years old son bleeds from his nose almost every month. Please, what can be the cause and cure?
Okay, this is not allergy question, but maybe I should just quickly address it because I was one of those people that used to bleed from their nose every month growing up. So area, I heal him. So what you need to do is that you need to find out why he's bleeding from his nose every month. Sometimes he's picking of the nose. When you pick your nose too vigorously, I don't know how old he is, but if he's sticking his 8, okay, so 8. So if he's putting his fingers up in his nose very, very, very often, then that could be the reason why he's having the bleeding from the nose. Excessively vigorous blowing of your nose can cause vessels in your nostrils to rupture, and that will cause bleeding. But usually this bleeding is harmless. It's called epistaxis. It's harmless. So what you do is you need to pinch the nose and then lean forward. Sometimes you can get an ice pack, wrap ice inside a handkerchief or a towel and then put on the nostril and then make the child lean forward so that it doesn't, swallow blood. So that's the solution. However, if he's bleeding from anywhere else, if you're seeing any blood in the urine, if you're seeing him coughing up blood, if blood is coming from anywhere else, then you need to pay a visit to the hospital because there are certain bleeding disorders that might have presentations that look similar. It's also important for us to know whether he bled too much during circumcision because there's a condition that we call hemophilia, which can present with bleeding or excessive bleeding. It's also important for us to know how much blood does he lose each month from those nosebleeds. Are they a significant quantity or is it just a few drops and then it stops? So a hospital visit is going to be necessary for you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Chinwe. You've heard from the doctor. Next question is from Ajayi Makinde. My son of 7 years complains of itching in his anus. What could be causing it? Hello, doctor. Dr. Ayo.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes,
I'm
we
back.
can hear
Yes,
you.
sorry. Yes. Okay. That's itching in the anus, Abby.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So itching in the anus is a relatively common symptom in children. But one of the most important reasons why a child will itch in his anus is the presence of the pinworm infection. So that infection requires treatment, it requires a diagnosis. So please pay a visit to the hospital. They might need to deworm him. Also, it's also important for us to inspect the anus to see if maybe there's anything like a hemorrhoid, which can also cause anal itching. Very important. But that pinworm infection is very important because of anal itching. So please go to the hospital. Let them check for ova of parasites. Let them check for their organism. The anal itching of pinworm infection is especially worse at night. So at night, you find out that the itching is so much because that's when the larvae are coming out to lay eggs in the anal region. And once they lay the eggs in the anal region, it causes that pruritus and itching. So a hospital visit is going to be necessary for you.
Okay. All right. Alera Moses is back again. She said, 4-year-old daughter, the one that has the vagina itching,
Yes.
she says it's been recurring for some time and also having mouth discomfort. She has taken her to the hospital. Drugs were given, but after a month, it will occur again.
Okay. That's for the vagina itching.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not too sure what the diagnosis might be, but vaginal candidiasis is an important reason. Also, those allergies, if he's having significant allergies, and reacting to something, fabric, from some cosmetics, then it's likely to recur, regardless of what the medication is. So this is not something that we can actually deal with here at this forum. With dermatologists, very.
Okay. Next question is from Princess Paul. My boy's eyes is always red since when he clocked 1, and he's 4 years old now. I took him to the hospital. They prescribed drug for him, but the eyes are still red.
Okay. If the eyes are itchy, they are red and itching and they're discharging and discharge periodically, then you are dealing with most likely allergic conjunctivitis. But allergic conjunctivitis is along the spectrum of allergies that sometimes require long-term use of eye drops. But there are some children, unfortunately, whose eyes are not white. That's just the reality of life. Just like some of us, our teeth are not like bright, sparkling, pearly white. But I was telling one of my dentists that I need to go and whiten my teeth. And he looked at me like, why do you need to whiten your teeth? Your teeth are fine. And I, well, my teeth are not like sparkling white. Like, no, not everybody's teeth that will end up looking like ceramic. Some people that their teeth are just a slightly, off white, slightly cream, slightly, so don't bother whitening your teeth. That's just the way it is. Eyes not bright white like a pearl, but you just have to that way. But if it's having itching of the eyes with eye discharge, then yes, but if it's if there's itching of the eyes and then there's eye discharge, then it's important for you to go to the hospital because it might be allergic conjunctivitis.
Okay.
Sorry, Tommy, before we take the next question, let me just address a few issues.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So in terms of treatment of allergies, allergies don't have cures. So allergies are such that we need to manage them for a long time. They are chronic conditions. And in managing allergies, we do so for a long period of time using what we call antihistamines to prevent the itching. However, in some life-threatening situations, because I've seen situations in which somebody was eating and they did not know that groundnut was inside the thing that they were eating and they ate it, and then their airway closed up, their airway narrowed, they developed difficulty with breathing, they collapsed, they developed hypotension. There is something that we call an EpiPen, an epinephrine pen. So that if you know that you are allergic to something and you have had something like what they call anaphylaxis, because anaphylaxis is a very serious form of allergies, it's important for you to have an EpiPen. That EpiPen is an epinephrine pen. That pen contains adrenaline, and when you stab yourself, let me not stab yourself, when you inject yourself with that pen, it injects adrenaline into your system to prevent the allergies or to reverse the effect of the allergies or the anaphylaxis. So if you are a known person who has had previous anaphylaxis to any sort of food item, it's important for you, first of all, to carry an allergy badge, because some people have this allergy badge on them to say allergic to this, allergic to that, I have allergies, and they carry it on their wrist or they carry it in their wallet, so that paramedics who come to the scene, where if you are in a country that has paramedics, then they can actually intervene and know that, okay, so this is what might have happened. And so it's also important, even soups, just to in terms of prevention, even soups that they have put shrimp inside, like like fisherman soup. People who have allergies cannot go and be licking soup that has shrimp inside, because they can have very violent and severe allergic reactions. So carrying an epinephrine pen is also very essential. And then please, if you have or suspect that there's an allergy, don't start driving to the hospital where they gave birth to your child that is in Akonwojo when you are in Ajah. Drive to the nearest hospital so that they can intervene as quickly as possible. Then when they have stabilized the baby, you can now transfer to the hospital that you are familiar with and that you know. So don't start making long journeys when you start seeing, hives rising out of people's skins or skin. Whenever you react to a drug, please, it's essential for you to remember to tell the doctor when you get to the hospital to say, you know what, please, I have had an allergic reaction to Septrin or to amoxicillin or to penicillin in the past. So please, if you are prescribing it for me, I need to let you know so that you don't prescribe it for me, so that I don't go home or I don't take my child home and then there's an allergic reaction. So allergic reactions to drugs will usually include things like a rash, like severely itching, difficulty with breathing, general discomfort, but a rash and severe difficulty with breathing are probably one of the commonest reactions to a drug that a child can have. So I wanted to just highlight those points.
Okay, all right. Thank you, doctor. Okay, we'll take our next question now. Niola is asking, my daughter is allergic to eggs and soybeans. What's the way
Oh, wow.
forward, doctor?
Oh, avoidance, avoidance, avoidance. There is no two ways about it. Eggs are not by force. There are some people that go through their life and they don't even eat one single egg because they don't like eggs. So avoid eggs, avoid soy. The problem is that eggs are so pervasive. Eggs are in cake, eggs are in ice cream, eggs are in so many things. As a matter of fact, eggs are probably the best things that we eat. Egg sauce. So unfortunately, she's not going to partake of a lot of these, but there are eggless cakes. Now, I don't know if, correct me if I'm wrong here, so this is why I think I need the help of the mothers. Egg is egg. The egg in the cake, even though it has been mixed along with things like butter, sugar, maybe cream, maybe flour, cinnamon, the fact is, there are still eggs inside the cake. And so I would like to know if she reacts to cake. That's very important, because any child that reacts to cake, my heart goes out to them. A child should not react to cake. Cake is part of a child's existence. So, as in, that would be just an unfortunate situation, So please, avoidance is key. Let's avoid soy. Let's avoid eggs. To a large extent.
Okay. Niola, you've heard from the doctor. If your child is allergic to it, please don't give her those things to eat. Rashida is asking, please, how do we figure out the particular allergy a child reacts to? Because most times it's difficult to really tell.
Yes, I mean, difficult to tell most of the time, because different things. The child might be reacting to more than one thing at a time. That's the fact. Children sometimes they react to different things at a time, and so it might be difficult to pinpoint which one specifically. But you can tell, because if it is skin, if it's something on the skin, it's most likely that it's coming. If it's something on the skin that is localized, that is at a piece, that is a very particular point, then you can say that, child is reacting to maybe a buckle. If it is a skin reaction that is all over the skin, then you're probably dealing with either atopic dermatitis, or even atopic dermatitis is located at the elbows, at the flexural areas inside the elbows. That's this area. So those ones, as you can say that this is atopic dermatitis. But when you have allergies that are generalized, so that you take something and then the whole child breaks out in hives, then it's more likely a food or a drug reaction. So allergies that manifest on the skin as a generalized form are usually from food or drugs. Localized allergies are either atopic dermatitis or contact dermatitis to things like jewelry or a fabric. Also, Things like eye scratching, nose scratching, they are due to environmental.
Hello, Doc. Doctor, I have lost you. Hello, Doctor. Okay. While we wait for Doctor to join us again, we'll be rounding off very soon. We're rounding off very soon. We apologize for the short delay. Um, please just hold on. Thank you so much for those that have sent in their questions. Thank you for those that have been watching us since we started. You can see we currently have 54 viewers. Thank you for everybody that has shared the video. And as always, if at the end of the live you still your question has not been able to has not been attended to, please just head on straight to the Facebook group. Drop your questions. Moderators will attend to it. Um, yes, and also please don't forget. Ask the Pediatricians Foundation is going live on Global Giving on the 11th of March. That's on Monday. Please, 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 supporters, supporters, supporters. you let the doctors know that my child is allergic to this. Please do not give him or her this particular medication, so the doctors know how best to treat the child. And also, don't do self medication. We cannot emphasize this enough on ATP. It is said every time that ABC drug worked for a child doesn't mean to work for another child. It doesn't mean the child has the same condition. Let a physician evaluate the child's condition. Don't do self-medication on your children. Don't practice self-taught medicine, please, please, please. These children, they are okay. I see Dr. Ayo is back. Okay, let me bring him back into the broadcast for us. Welcome back, Dr. Ayo.
Thank you very much
Yes, sir. Hello.
to me.
Okay, all right. So we're talking about. Hmm, sorry, I think I lost. Oh, okay. The child with the red eyes. You're saying something about it being. Okay, sorry. We're talking about the child. How do we identify allergies? How do we
Yes,
identify?
it's hard. But just vigilance, pay attention, just make sure that you're looking out for. If you introduce anything new, if you introduce anything different to your child's diet, and the child just starts to have, funny symptoms, a rash, a diarrhea, then just know that the child might be reacting to that thing. Which is why we always say, when you're introducing foods, please introduce them, you know, one at a time. Don't introduce too many things at the same time, so
Okay.
that you know exactly which one the child is reacting to. Because if you introduce 5 things at a time, which of the 5 things is the child actually reacting to? You don't know. So please introduce a new food 1 week at a time, one every week or one every 2 weeks.
Okay. I think we lost Dr. I again. Um, okay. Debbie Sunday. We already attended to this question. Okay. Already attended to this question. Um, say my son has small ball like rashes all over his body. It normally brings out water when he scratches it. This has been going on since he was 3, and now he's 7. What could be the cause? You
2
really,
bottles of
really need to go
whiskey
see
all
a
the way.
dermatologist. Please go see a dermatologist. Yes, a dermatologist needs to assess the balls, and they need to test the water that is coming out and all. No self medication, please. We keep hammering on that. No self medication. Don't consult with other mothers. Please go to a dermatologist. Let him or her evaluate your child's skin. Um, okay. We sincerely apologize for this technical issues we're having, and we're supposed to be rounding up in like another 2 minutes, but this is dragging us back. Doctor, are you back with us? Okay. Hmm. Okay, so we'll wait. Let's just try and see if Dr. Ayo's network would allow him join us. If not, we'll end this live show in another 2 minutes if it doesn't come on. Apologies to everyone once again for the breaking transmission. Yes, we apologize for breaking transmission. Please, please, please. Okay. Dr. Aya, are you back? Okay, you're back. Welcome back, Doctor.
Thank you.
Okay. Our question is from Chinwe. My 11-year-old son always have itches in his eyes, accompanied with tears dropping from them. Please, what is the cause and the cure?
Most likely allergic conjunctivitis. And it's an eye drop. There's certain eye drop that you need to use. I'm sure it doesn't happen all year round. So when he has the seasons where he has the eye discharge, then he needs to be given a certain eye drop regularly. But I can't prescribe here, so hospital visit.
Okay. So Chinwe, go see your doctor and let the proper prescription be given. Efe Mori asked us to ask, my 9-month-old daughter has rashes all over that itches her. She cries a lot, and when she itches, the rashes even on her feet, head, and fingers.
Also, hard to diagnose a rash without seeing it.
Yes.
But if we are dealing with atopic dermatitis, I don't know what the rash looks
she
like.
says it comes with fever. She says it comes with fever or comes with temperature. Hello, Doc.
But either way, this requires for her to visit the hospital.
Okay.
Yes.
Efe, you've heard from the doctor. The rash needs to be evaluated, so visit a doctor. Ebon is asking, my son has like this wrist lesions that has tiny rashes on it. The lesions are hard, but the rashes have water in them. This just happened overnight. This is the best way I can describe it.
Well, if it is on the hand, more rashes. If it is on the hand that the child wears his wristwatch on.
He's 1 year old, 1 year and 9 months.
Oh, it's 1 year. Oh, it's a 1 year really rash on the wrist with also very strange, and it's nowhere else.
No. She
Unfortunately,
said
it's a rash again.
Raised lesions.
Oh, raised lesions. Oh, I see. I see. Raised lesions. Oh, so they're raised lesions. All over.
Well, she didn't mention where. She just said she just said he has them.
Raised lesions. Think insect bites.
She has replied. She
think something. Something is biting him inside that bed though. I beg, move him. Let him come and sleep on your bed with you. Move him. Okay, so it's an infant actually. So okay, so on the more serious note, actually, we prefer for infants to sleep in their own cot because we don't want you to accidentally roll. We don't want you to accidentally roll on the baby or push the baby out of the bed because some of you people you sleep like as if you are fighting in your. Some of you people you punch people in your dreams. So please don't put the baby on the bed though. Let the baby be in their own cots, but change the beddings in the cot because we might have insects living inside those beddings.
Okay. All right. Ebon, you read from the doctor. You need to change the beddings and check out all the fabrics the child is using. Okay, there are no more questions.
Great. So can I just quickly say something about prevention?
Yes, please, doctor. Go ahead.
Okay, so prevention. Limiting exposure is very essential. Now, since I've said that allergies are an inherent tendency, such that it is in your genes to be allergic, there's nothing you can do about that. And a lot of people don't know they're allergic until they're exposed to the allergen and they have a reaction. That's just the fact. So once you know that you are allergic to something and you're lucky enough to be able to identify that thing, then please avoid it altogether. Avoid shrimp, avoid eggs, avoid nuts if that is what you're allergic to. Any drug that you're allergic to, let the physicians know. Don't go and buy that drug yourself. Try not to self-medicate. If you are having a condition that is chronic, like allergic rhinitis, allergic conjunctivitis, atopic dermatitis, those are chronic allergic conditions that we're going to need to manage for years and years and years. The good thing about it is that a lot of children outgrow all these allergic conditions like atopic dermatitis, like allergic rhinitis. But while they are there, you need to pay regular visits to the hospital to get refills of your drugs that we use to control these medications. And no self-medication, please. So prevention is better. And children with allergies can have a very good quality of life despite their allergies, as long as it is well controlled and well managed. So while there is no cure, they can be well managed as long as avoidance is done and as long as you administer the right preventive medications to help to relieve the symptoms that the children might be having as regards allergies of every kind.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor, for that closing remark.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for that closing remark.
Thank you, everybody
Thank
that
you.
joined in today's.
Thank you, everybody that joined in today's.
Okay, I think we had
Thanks, everyone.
I think we had
lesser audience because today's
lesser audience because today's
good citizens,
Yes.
good citizens, go and vote, please.
Go and vote.
Yes. Before we go, I'd like to remind us again. I'd like to remind us again. We are giving live. We're going live on Global Giving from Tosineri Bake. All right. See you later and have a beautiful Saturday, everybody. Bye.